Hello everybody and welcome to this episode 1 or episode 0, whatever it's going to be called, of Ztank's Road to 99. The series where a man becomes healthier. Hopefully, yeah, sure. But basically, this is going to be a documentation of my journey to try to get healthier than I have ever been. I'd probably assume so. But basically, getting into the preamble of why I started this, I kind of did explain it a tiny bit in the actual announcement video, but I wanted to get into like a proper reason, basically a bit of more context and lore, so to speak. But basically, I think it was ever since I was like 7, I've always been like a bigger kid, and it's pretty much carried on all the way out till pretty much now recently. And I know it doesn't really like look it because I try to keep the camera tilted like this, but it's kind of it's fairly bad. Basically, I'll show you the actual given weight I'm currently at right now. Well, when I announced this series was 160 kilos, which is that's not great. It's just, I think it's like 380 pounds, something like that, if you want to do the proper conversion or anything. But in fairness, it was a little bit worse a few years ago. I remember it was Boxing Day a few years ago. I was at some party and there was a scale and it's like, oh, I'll weigh myself. And it was like 168 and I was like, oh fuck. Basically, but yeah, so pretty much over the last like year or two, I've pretty much been fluctuating a little bit, but I've pretty much stayed at that 160 point. But what kind of started this is there's actually a channel on YouTube called Ztank, which I started getting recommended his videos, and he is doing his own like fitness challenge over 100 weeks, and he was starting off at even higher weight than I was, and I was like, oh, that's actually really cool, and it's kind of, it's inspiring kind of things like that to actually like wanting to do it. I should just say, if you do see smoke, that's a humidifier. I don't smoke, but and also one of the main things was so during a couple of weeks ago, I got a GoPro and was going to be recording like a live reaction to put up as a video, like a compilation, like fans reacting to the Manchester derby between Man United and Man City. And I looked at the footage and I was kind of embarrassed because I know this is going to sound weird, but I don't feel like 160 kilos. I know that's weird, but it's like I just don't. Like when I look down, I don't even see myself as that big. Like it's probably because I've been so used to it that it's kind of just gone to the back of my head. But basically, it's once like a photo is taken of me or I see footage of myself, then that's the big, like, you fat bastard, that moment, basically, in an essence. But pretty much those were all the reasons of wanting to do this, and I've been trying to think of when to bring this series in for like the last 7 or 8 months, and obviously with the now being the new year, because the whole, new year, let me try that again, new year, new me type thing, and it's like, actually going and doing it, so I was like, yeah, this is probably the right time. So that, to an extent, is what the lore is behind this whole series, and now we will go into the actual type of plans and ideas of what I'm going to try to do to try to counteract this. So one of the main important things is obviously what you put into your mouth, because as many times as you go into the gym, if you're not eating that great, nothing really is going to change. But basically, there are key things that I do have. I do have this app that I have been using for the last couple of weeks. I'm not sponsored by this or any way. It's just a nice thing to actually track everything that's involved. It's called Lose It. Basically, what you do is you put in like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and all that. It gives you like if you put in a plan, basically, it's like, oh, how many kilos do you want to lose or something like that, and it gives you like a kilojoule budget for the day. And you basically, try to like get under it. I will admit that in the last of the couple of days, so if I just go up to around here, so if you see there, I probably have a screenshot or anything, but basically these are all the days in the circles. I have gone over the budget once. It was back on the 27th of July. It was the day after the 26th. Not going to get into that debate, but basically I did go over a little bit, basically. But pretty much I've been using it over the last, pretty much since the beginning of January, and it basically breaks it down, the free version at least, breaks it down into like 3 components, whether it's like carbs, fats, and proteins. I've been trying to basically, like, limit the amount of carbs, because I have heard if you take out carbs, you can actually lose a bit of weight from it, obviously, without carbs being all, like, you know, breads, spuds, and all that. Which has been nice, and I've been trying to be more focusing on, like, you know, proteins and fat sort of thing. So basically, kind of like the John Cena thing when he had an interview a couple of years ago of, if it's green and it breathes, you eat it, kind of thing is what I've been trying to follow with. One of the other things I've been trying to do is also, like, substitutions, because obviously, if you just go, like, it's someone who, like, eats fast food fairly relatively, if you just try to cut it out, you're gonna relapse. It's not like it's an easing process. Like, for instead, like, an example being, if you have chocolate, just use dark chocolate. It's like, you're still eating chocolate, however, dark chocolate is more better for you, I think. I hope I'm not an expert or anything, trust me. But one thing that I have been doing is trying to eliminate soft drinks as well, because they're an absolute buggery. Basically, what I have been doing, and I know this is weird, but for some reason it just works for me, is I have, like, plastic bottles of water, and I put them in the freezer, and I just drink the ice water. For some reason, that works for me. I don't know if that's... I don't think it's going to be working for anyone else, but it just, for some reason, works for me. And all in all, basically, just, you know, trying to eat less shit, really. Like, in a figurative sense and a literal sense. Basically, having less at dinners, you know, using smaller plates and bowls to, like, psychologically, you know, like that. And also, eating fruits. It's like, I didn't realise I really like blackberries, and blackberries are very good. They're very good for you. So, that's kind of the, basically, of the dieting aspect of it, is basically, you know, eat less. Who would have thought? It's like, man discovers eating less means I don't put more weight on. Who would have thought? But basically, that's pretty much the plan there. But then it comes into the actual, like, exercise and going to the gym. Basically, any type of exercise when it comes to cardio will work for me, because you're just moving around is fairly good, which I will admit has been a bit of a problem for me as a person who predominantly stays in their room a lot. But going to change it as well. One thing I do help to use that is I do have an Apple Watch, which does have this, like, 3-ring system where it tracks, like, how long you stand for, exercise, and how many kilojoules you've burnt. So that's pretty cool and all that. But it does have, like, a gym feature where it actually pops in, like, exercise, so it counts into your exercises. I do like the cardio stuff when I go to the gym. Predominantly, my two favorite things to do, and I know it sounds a bit odd, is the rowing machine, because I think for me it works, you know, that whole body type beat, basically. And it also, like, works on your lung capacity and stuff like that. And also boxing, because, you know, it's nice to get a bit of aggression out. But yeah, I don't know why. I think it was pretty much ever since 2020. Was it 2021? I'd say it would probably be since when I was like, holy shit, I really like boxing. So it's something that I would like to do. Who wants to fight? No, but yeah, it's basically those types of things that I've been doing around the gym. It's like, the problem is I don't really formulate some kind of plan for it, so I need to, like, actually, like, look around and see what I want to do, because it does limit to just doing arms and legs when, you know, all of the things that need to be losing weight are not a part of them, but they're, you know, somewhat, you know, like, you know, your abs, your chest and all that. But in an essence, really, that is all that I've been really doing, basically, and what I'm probably going to be ending up doing. I've heard about this whole, all these, like, protein shakes and pre-workout and stuff like that. For me, it's just so confusing, obviously, because I'm not an expert in any of like that, but it still just seems like, I feel like it's more for people wanting to build muscle rather than what I'm trying to do, which is trying to lose weight. I think there's probably some that you can, if anybody has any suggestions of, like, if I'm in the wrong with that and actually should be doing stuff like that, let me know in the comments below. I am actually fairly sweating because it is humid as hell recently. Literally. But basically, that's pretty much what the battle plan is. I do apologize for this video being a little bit short, but I will say that over the last 2 weeks I've done, I went from the 160, I'm currently at 158.5, so I have lost about 1.5 kilos in, 2 and a bit weeks, so it's a good start nonetheless, and once I get into the actual proper cycle of it, it'll just become less of a hassle and anything like that. I do also have a job that for money, which does require me to walk a fair bit, so that's going to be another thing that's going to help me. So yeah, so that's the video of this so-called battle plan or wherever, where it's just 12 minutes of me rambling. But thank you all very much for watching, and these videos will probably come out probably once every week or so, but once it gets to late February is when I start back up at uni, so it might take a little bit of time off that, so maybe like once every fortnight to an extent. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. I'm excited to see how this journey goes. It will actually have proper footage of me at the gym and all that, so it's like, it's because it's different from me actually saying it's like, oh, I lost all this weight, when there's no evidence to prove otherwise. So yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later.